Hi there, Sue here. Just thought I'd jump on and have a quick chat about where I'm at with my carnivore diet, which is actually more a ketovore diet. So what am I eating? So I started so I was doing keto for a couple of months, and then I decided to move towards more meat and less plants. So heading towards a carnivore type diet, but I'm still I've been eating mostly meat, dairy. So I was eating quite a bit of cheese to start with, but I'm kind of cutting that back. I'm making kefir with raw milk and having some of that each day. Butter and animal fats. So my weight still hasn't changed, so it goes up and down by about a kilo. I think I'm got some very slight change in my body shape in the last couple of weeks, or the last week or so. Hard to tell. I'm taking my photographs weekly, and my body shape actually went up a little bit, or looked a bit more kind of puffy last week. But I think that's because I bought some fascia blasters, and so I'm doing fascia blasting. And if you don't know what that is, I'll put a link below. It's quite interesting and kind of exciting, the results that a lot of people get with fascia blasting. So I'm doing that as well as carnivore. So this week I just made sure I didn't do any blasting. I think I didn't do any for maybe 2 days mostly before I took my photos this morning, and there's a little bit of change between today's photos and 2 weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but not a lot. So I'm feeling better. So what's changing? I'm feeling better for the most part. I had a bit of like diarrhea and digestive upset to start with, off and on, but that seems to be subsiding. And that can be just the change in the foods that you're eating. So when you're eating more plant-based, or more plants, and then you stop eating those and move to more animal products, the bacteria in your gut, so your flora, is going to change. So those bacteria that are the carb-loving ones are going to die off and disappear, and so that can cause diarrhea. Also, your liver, I've talked about this in a video I did the other day, your liver, gallbladder, just your body getting used to having more fat and less plants can cause that sort of thing. So last couple of days my digestive system's been pretty good. I'm feeling like my brain's working better, and I think that's probably the ketosis. So I've been in ketosis most of the time, not all of the time, because I've been having some raspberries, and I think if I have the raspberries with the kefir, there must be still a little bit of carb, I guess, in the kefir, even though I'm doing it myself, and I ferment it until it's pretty fermented, but there's probably still a little bit of carbohydrate in there, I guess, and so that'll kick me out of ketosis. But then it doesn't take too long, I don't think, to get back in there again to burning ketones. So my brain definitely feels like it's working better. I'm reading up about fascia and different things, and it makes sense. I'm just absorbing the information a lot easier than I have for probably quite some time. Other things that have changed, I'm not having dizzy spells. So I had maybe one when I've just a couple of days into this, and then I haven't had any. So prior to this, I've been having problems with vertigo for years, about 10 years off and on, maybe even actually longer. No, about 10 or 11 years off and on. So, and that I've always put down to stress. So adrenal fatigue. It all started with a very stressful year in 2008 when we bought a business, and it was a big mistake, and it was just a long, sad story, but the stress was massive for me, and it affected my health, and my vertigo was just absolutely ballistic, really hard to live with. And that it's always just been my adrenals that were the cause. But that's kind of had stopped, and then I started getting these other different kind of dizzy spells, and like getting up in the morning for ages. I would sit up in bed, and then I'd have to sit on the edge of the bed and wait to make sure that was clear before I stood up, because otherwise I'd be in danger of falling over because of the dizziness. That stopped. I can basically leap out of bed without any dizziness. So that's a good thing. What else? I feel better in my body generally. I kind of had I don't know, something going on in, I don't know whether my heart or something. So there's something going on that I just was aware of, especially when I went to bed at night time. And with my breathing kind of, and that seems to have settled as well. I don't know what that is. I have my suspicions, but yeah, that seems to have settled. And what else? Probably, I can't say less aches and pains at the moment because I'm doing the fascia blasting. The aches and pains are changing because I guess my fascia, which was in a fairly bad state, is loosening up, and so things are changing in my body to do with that. But just generally feeling less inflamed. I've got no fluid on my shins, which I have had for years. I had pitting edema on my shins, and there's none. I don't know when that went away. I don't know whether it went away with keto or what, but there's no pitting edema at all. And so if you don't know what that is, that's when there's swelling, and when you push it with your finger, it has a dent there. Yeah, so pitting edema is something that I see a bit of when I'm working on clients. It's fairly common on the fronts of people's shins. It's common to have inflammation down there, and for there to be tenderness down there on the front of the shin bone, the tibia. And so yeah, so that fluid is not there anymore. Less joint pain in my fingers. So I had been having, I don't know, at least the last couple of years, pain in the joints, my little fingers in particular, especially that one, and my index fingers were quite painful. Like it had got to the point where my little fingers would be sore even without touching them. They would quite often be sore, achy, and my index fingers would be sore touching. So I've just got a little bit of tenderness on that one there, but the others are all fine. What I'd noticed is I had some crackers last weekend that have got seeds and that in them. We had my son over for tea, and so I had some keto crackers, and the tenderness, the joint pain came back the next day after having those. So, yeah, so I'm definitely noticing some benefits so far, even though there's no real weight loss. It's fairly common for people not to lose weight initially. Some people even gain weight initially, and it's just a process of the body healing itself. But because I'm not doing full carnivore, then there's kind of, I don't know, bit of a mixed result, I guess. The reason I'm not doing full carnivore right now is it just feels really restrictive to me, and I guess I'm just easing into it is what I'm doing, and experimenting and playing and seeing what effects it has. So I have some days where I do 100% carnivore, or just 100% animal products at least, and then some days where I don't. So I've had raspberries the last 2 days. The other thing that I have been having is cacao. So yeah, that's definitely not carnivore. I'm having trouble giving up my cacao. But a lot of carnivores still have coffee. So that's kind of the same deal. And a lot of carnivores have tea, and so I also have yerba mate tea in the morning. So yeah, so that's my things that I've been having that I possibly shouldn't, is the yerba mate tea, the cacao, and raspberries in particular, sometimes, some days. That's about it, really. So yeah, one of the things that I want to do is become really anal about it at this stage. I've been there before. I've been really strict with my diet in the past, and it makes it hard. Like if you're socializing or whatever, it causes, I don't know, conflict, discomfort, awkwardness, and I don't want to do that right now. So slowly, that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm mostly eating one meal a day and some snacks. So especially when I'm during the week when I'm working with clients, I'll just fast all day, which is what I was doing before anyway. I've found when I first started eating more meat that I was actually getting really hungry in the morning. But now that's kind of settling, and I can get through all day and get to tea time, and I'm still not that hungry. They're like yesterday, I had tea about 7 o'clock at night because I was with clients until 6:30, and even when we had tea, I could have done without it. I wasn't ravenous. So yeah, so it is an experiment for anybody who starts eating this way. It's an experiment, and it's playing around and paying attention to see what works for you and what doesn't. There's some people who do carnivore all week and then they do ketovore on the weekend, so they'll add some plant foods in the weekend, just little bits, but still keep their carbs low. Others are really strict with their carnivore all the time. For some people need more fat, some people need less fat to be able to lose weight anyway. Some people need to make sure that their calories are higher than what their total daily energy expenditure shows. Some people need less. So it's a bit of time and playing and seeing what works. So the fact that I'm getting some improvement already, it's only been 11 days. So it's only been 11 days and I'm already noticing some benefits and seem to be getting past the digestive issues. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, I think. I'll do another update, I don't know, in the next week or two and see where we're at. And if you've got any questions or comments, fire away. If you enjoyed this video and if you're interested in what I'm doing, just subscribe, share it with anybody who might enjoy it and who might be interested. And I will talk to you again another day. Okay, bye for now.